Good morning, Floss Tube. This is Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. This is Dan, the man,
Happy Sunday.
the myth, the dragon. And this is the Dan and Julie show number 50.
50.
50. 50. Yeah.
Could be a milestone.
Could be. Could be. Welcome. How are you today?
Things could happen.
They probably will. He's in a kind of a singy kind of mood today, so just excuse him if he bursts into song at some point. It's Sunday. It's the 21st of March. I can't believe it's March already. I mean, like the 21st of March, because it seems like Bill Ramby was just on the TV last night talking about March coming in like a lamb. And would it go out like a lamb?
This looks more like a lion.
And now we're 3 weeks in, and it's, today I'd say lion. The wind, it's pretty windy, but it's supposed to get to be about 65 or so. So it could be worse. We could have snow, which we don't. The snow has all melted. The ground has dried up. So there's no muddy paw prints coming in the house anymore. There's just sticks and twigs and leaves coming in on the dogs. So
grass clumps.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. Our yard is so bad. I've got some landscapers coming to just give us an idea of what it's going to take to get the yard, to get the yard back into shape. Whether it's better to sod it or seed it, or I don't think seed in the back part would be a good idea though. With the dogs running around, I just don't think it'd grow. But
it'll come back. Remember, we had a drought last summer that really
they're predicting a drought this summer.
We got rain.
Well, we did get some rain.
We got artificial rain.
Well, yes, we have a sprinkler system now, so that will help. But anyway, that's not what you're here for. You're here for cross stitch. So we're gonna go over kind of Dan hasn't been doing much, and we'll explain about why. But what I've been stitching on, what I finished, I brought some stuff, some new stuff that I wanted to share. I'm not going to call it haul because I just borrowed it from the shop and brought it home to show you. But I did get up a couple of things. Started one thing, but I'm kind of tweaking the colors a little bit, so it may change from what I stitched last night. And tweak, yes. We went antiquing a couple of weekends ago to a new antique store and found some treasures there. And what else?
It's been there forever. It's not really new.
Oh, it's been there forever.
The antique store. So it's not a new.
Well, it's new to us. Well, I had been there before, but Dan had never.
I've been there. No, maybe.
No, you had not been there. You had not been to that one. It's called the, what is it called? The Aardvark Mall outside of Lincoln. And we got up one Sunday morning and were there by when they opened at 9, and there was nobody there. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. So picked up a few treasures there, and some of them are at the shop, so I won't be able to show you those, but I still have a couple here that I can show you, and Dan did a woodworking thing that he can show you. So but I have no organizational skills whatsoever today, so it's just going to be a mishmash, and hopefully you'll just stick around for the ride because it promises to be kind of a up and down one, huh? Yeah. So where do you think we should start?
I don't know. Didn't you at least have that?
No, I did not have that.
Really,
I did not
really
have.
Out of sorts today.
I am out of sorts today.
Let's start with some stitching stuff.
Okay. We don't want to do the fringies first.
Right.
Okay. That was from our last Dan and Julie show. We coined the term fringies, which is the stuff that's sort of kind of stitching related, but isn't actual stitching. So we do have fringy stuff to show you. Anyway, I guess maybe we'll start with what I've been working on, which mostly has been my band sampler that I designed, and I did get it finished. Do you think I should show it to them?
I think it'd be good. That way, you might get some feedback on, are you going to have to make 1,000 copies to sell or 2,000 copies?
Probably only make 5.
There'll be more demand than that.
I don't think so.
But yeah, I think
I'll
be phased, because I know you're not completely done with it. You're just done with the stitching.
Done with the stitching. It's not framed yet, and it's, if I release it, I've still got to frame it and take a picture and format the chart and get them printed, all 5 of them. Anyway, I know Donna and Mary want one, and they said they wanted to be the first 2 charts. So
didn't Wendy express any interest in it?
No. So I'm just going to start with what I have stitched on since our last Dan and Julie show. How's that? Does that sound good? Okay. These are in no particular order, and there is not a ton of progress on any of them. I didn't take them out of bags or anything else, so bear with me. I knew if I took the time to really set that up, I'd be here another 3 hours getting ready, and this would never happen.
I've been waiting for her all morning. I got up early and...
You want to start over with that?
No, I was piddle farting around.
He was piddle farting. I told him when he got up this morning, I said, you need to shower so we can get this video done. And he piddle farted, and we'll get into more of what he was piddle farting with, but later, but he was piddle farting. So, where's my picture? There. Okay. So this is the Noel Sampler with a needle and thread. I did have a question on it the last time someone asked what fabric I was stitching mine on. It is 40 count dried sage from
Rosemary and Thyme?
No. No, dried sage from Color and Cotton, I think. But that, and I don't have any more. That was another question. I'm out. I've ordered it, but I'm out. So here's my progress. Not a whole lot. I finished the mortar on the side of the house. I had it about half done. So I finished that. I added this, I extended this down a little bit. So not a ton of progress, but
at least that bird has a head.
Yes, this bird has a head.
Donna would be so proud.
Donna would be proud.
That's an inside joke.
My 25/7 challenge piece, I am deliberately not putting the head on the bird because it's driving Donna absolutely bonkers. That
it's not just Donna, it's everybody.
The bird doesn't have a head. So, but, oh well. I'm mean like that. Okay, this is my DMC Sampler. For those of you who are not familiar, this is what it looks like. It is in case you're looking for it, the October 1996 issue of Cross Stitch and Needlework. That's what the cover looks like, which is...
Yeah, they'll be able to pull a 25-year-old magazine out of their stash.
Oh yeah, someone somewhere. I mean, we'll have it if you're looking for it. Not a ton of progress, but I did add this along here, some of it. I think I had this, but I added the scissors and the threads, and I really like how that looks. I even started some of the back stitching. But I'm having a little issue because there is some blended threads for you. For those of you who might not know, blended thread is like one strand of one color and one strand of another, and this is 40 count. So 2 strands isn't going to work on this. So I've got to find an overdyed that will kind of look okay for this, the rest of this spool over here. And I just keep forgetting to look when I'm at the shop. And I don't want to go any further until I figure that one out. So, but that's that one. Cover that one a little bit later because that's a new start. That's some new stuff. Moving on to my 25/7 challenge piece, which I am a total and complete failure at. I'm hosting the dang thing, and I got so wrapped up in my band sampler that I quit working on it. The last day I touched it was the 10th of March. So I started catching up last night. I have, I think, another roughly 50 stitches to go, and then I'm all caught up. So, this is the winds of autumn, and where, I don't know where my picture is of it. Told you I wasn't that organized today. But this is where I'm at. This is where my headless bird is at. Let me take it off the Q snaps because half of it is covered. But my goal is to, you know, get back on track with this and to get it done fairly soon, because there's not that much left. What I have left is kind of viney stuff and the head. So let me put something behind this just in case. So there's where I'm at with first winds of autumn. I love the design. I love how it looks. I'm getting kind of tired of all the rusts and the browns. And I still, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm being dense, but I still don't know what the heck this is supposed to be. It's not a wing. So if anyone knows what that is, could you let me know? Because I can't figure it out. What do you think that is?
It's a beehive.
It's not a beehive. I don't know what it is. It's just this orange blob behind behind the bird.
But this, sure you did it in the right colors. Okay.
I did indeed. So anyway, don't flash the pattern though. This would be the headless bird that is driving Donna absolutely insane. So she's just gonna have to be insane for a little while longer because I want to get all that viney stuff.
I have no idea.
I know.
That's a quandary right there.
It is a quandary. Yes, indeed. So I wanna get back on track and try and get this one done. So I may put in more than 25 stitches on it every day just to try and move it along a little faster. I'm ready to pick another one and get something else done.
The only problem with that is you'll have to change the name of your thing that you're doing from 25/7 to whatever you decide.
No, because it was a minimum of 25.
Well,
you could do as many as you wanted.
You could raise the minimum.
I could raise the minimum, but then for those who struggle to do any, it would make it harder, and I don't want to make it harder. The whole point was to, you know, make progress every day,
and why
which
would
I totally failed
at
it. Totally failed. Being honest, totally failed at that. But I will be back on board and be good until the next time I'm close to a finish, because that was kind of exciting. In our Zoom last night, they were talking about, because there's some in our Zoom that are, you know, have multiple projects going at a time, and then there are some who are monogamous, and we who have more going at once always make, not fun of, but always poke the bear a little bit about being monogamous, and they always kind of poke back at us about never getting anything finished. So they were making a point last night that I kind of was monogamous there for a while, which was true, but only because I was really, really close to a finish. So.
And it's something that's been in process since what?
2016 is when I designed that band sampler originally, and then I'll talk about it later. Let's see. Next up is, hold that please. Next up is Amethyst, T-H-I-E-S is how I'm pronouncing it, as teas. Teas? Amethyst. Anyway, not a lot of progress on it. I think I did two little letters of the alphabet. I did these two letters here. And that is all I did. But again, progress is progress, no matter how little. And that's fun.
You feel good? That's what
I feel good. I feel good. Do, 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 do.
I knew you would.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Could have named that tune in 3 notes.
Ooh. Yeah. And then, okay, so then my friend Carla, who makes the project bags for the shop, was in the other day.
Bag lady?
Bag Lady Carla is what we call her, because there's another Carla, too, that comes to the shop. And so we always call one Bag Lady Carla, just to distinguish between the two. And she was browsing the shop a little bit, and she came across the Springfield 1817 sampler from Twin Peak Primitives that looks like that. And she says, ooh, I really kind of like that. And I said, yeah, it's really a beautiful pattern, and the colors are just yummy. And told her I had it started. And so before she left, she ended up kitting it up. But I had made a few little tweaks to the colors. So she had to come back in and purchase the tweaks because I didn't know what they were. But anyway, her excitement over it rekindled my excitement over it, so I did take it out and work on it just a little bit the other night. And so I will show you that. It's, you know, this is 46 count that I'm working on, and look at how big this fabric is going to be. And that's on 46 count. This is not a small little project. Going to be gorgeous, but her stitch count is 371 by 416. So she's big. She's a big girl. She's going to be a beautiful girl.
She did that on Ada originally?
Well, that's what they put in when they charted it. I don't know that this is a actual stitched piece. I can't tell. Vision's a little blurry this morning. Some days it takes a little longer than others for the eyes to start working. Anyway, that's beside the point. Here's my start, and this is what I did the other night. I would have worked on it last night during the Zoom, but I rewarded myself with a new start, and I was working on it, and then I felt guilty, so I went and started back on the 25/7. So, and I haven't picked, I know I kind of want to pick something to kind of focus on in addition to the 25/7, but I haven't decided what it will be, or if it will be. I don't know. Well, we'll figure that out later. Okay, that is all of my, except for what I started. So I'm going to switch to a new start, which just came out. It's called Hannah Ann Wallace 1850 from With Thy Needle and Thread. And I just really liked all the soft pink colors on here. However, they aren't necessarily these colors. Like, for instance, The actual color for the outside of this flower is Sweet Potato from Classic Colorworks, which is an orangey color. That does not look orange to me. And I like how this looks. I pulled the colors that were called for, and they weren't exactly what I wanted. So I'm working on kind of tweaking the colors to look more like this. So what you're gonna see today may not be what it ends up looking like for sure, but maybe, we'll see. And it's a very small start, again, because I got to feeling guilty about the 25/7. So anyway, guilt it's a terrible thing. So this is my start, and that's that basket right up here. I did some counting. I counted over and counted down so that I could get that started and see how the colors were going to play with each other. So that is my start. This is 40 count autumn, and I think it's a Fiber on a Whim fabric. But I don't remember for sure, and I didn't write it down before I left work yesterday. I was in a hurry. But I wanted, it calls for Patriot's Brew, which is brown, like a darker, the piece I have. Oh, I brought the piece I have. Where is it? Where is it, Dano? Hang on. Hang on.
You're so organized.
Yeah, I know. So this is what I have for 36 count Patriot's Brew, and it's a brown, and the colors look really pretty on that. But again, I liked how this looked, which doesn't look anything like this. So I chose a fabric to look more like the cover.
It's almost like the same palette as your Anne Brow.
Nope.
I've seen that pink in there.
Yeah, she has pink in her, but that's not. No. Sorry. Anyway.
Imagine my embarrassment.
I will try, but it's hard. It's really hard. So that's my little start, and again, that could change depending on how I feel with how the colors are playing together. This is a little too peachy yet for me, so I may rip that back out and try a different color. We'll see. Okay, so that's all the things that have been stitched on. Would you like to show your finish?
Sure.
You've seen this before as he's been doing it, but he's got it finished. Sorry, I didn't iron it yet.
Not ready for ironing. Is that showing
That's
up?
his Wintertime from New York Dreamer. And I don't want to, I'm going to frame it, but I'm going to do, I don't know if you guys would remember my Mrs. Claus's booty and how I ended up framing that. It was more in a shadow box, and I just thought it would be kind of cool because this has a, see this branch that goes across. So I thought it'd be cool to put it in a shadow box with a gnarly branch with some, like, you know, that dimensional stuff you can buy at Hobby Lobby that looks like, that's supposed to look like snow, and to put some of that on the branch, and then to find two little cardinal figurines in the appropriate size to sit on the branch, and put that in the bottom of the shadow box. And then this would be mounted on the back side on some sort of a nice wintry looking fabric.
Possibly some dangling snowflakes.
Possibly some dangling snowflakes or icicles or something. I just had an idea. Wouldn't it be cool if you could find some icicle lights that we could, LED icicle lights that would somehow...
If the scale was right.
If the scale was right.
Light bulb.
That would be cool.
You just had an epiphany.
I did have an epiphany. I don't know if I could find anything though. But that would be kind of cool to have, you know, be able to hit the remote and and turn on the icicle lights.
Yeah.
I have to ponder that. This may not get finished anytime soon because it's not the right time to try and find winter fabric. And finding cardinal figurines the right scale might be difficult too. So, and quite frankly, right now I don't have time to go looking for it. But
I think Melanie could scope you out some.
You think she could
scope
you some cardinals? Maybe.
She's done it before.
She's got a lot on her plate right now. So then, let's see. I guess I'll show you what I kitted up. Obviously, the one I started, I kitted up. But then I also kitted up, as I said, there wasn't a ton that I felt like I wanted to stitch from the expo. There were things that I liked, but not necessarily that I wanted to stitch. And there was not that. Usually at market there's this aha moment where I see one chart and that's like my favorite from market, and I didn't really have that moment.
I think any every day for the most part.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of people not having that moment. I gotta get the chart out here. But this was one of the ones that I thought, well, I like it. It's smaller, and I could maybe get it done. Because really the house is and this bottom part are the worst part. But it's from Stacy Nash. It's the Rose Cottage Sampler Pin Keep. There. So I went ahead and I kitted that up. And I did kit it with the fabric formerly known as Confederate Gray, which is now just called gray. But this is 46 count. Because that's all I had the Confederate Gray, or the gray in. And this is the color palette. It's all DMC. So that's the color palette. And then she, after you stitch it, which is why she uses DMC, you're supposed to go over it, paint a wash of walnut crystals over the top to give it that aged look. And I intend to do that. I've done it before with one of her things, and it really looks nice. So I do intend to do that. So I did kit that one up.
Sounds dangerous to do it after you stitch something, but
well, that's why you want to use DMC, because they're a little more stable than the overdyes as far as running goes. It's not to say that it can't run. I have had black run. That was the last time I ever washed a customer's project, because the black just ran everywhere. So I don't wash customers' projects anymore. So that one I kitted up for me. Me. And then what I have left for stitching stuff is just charts that came in that I liked, that I wanted to kind of just show you some things that came in. So, and in one instance I did pull, maybe two instances, I did pull the fabric and the floss. This was one of the ones that I liked the picture, and I was really curious to see what the colors looked like, the floss colors looked like on the fabric, because the fabric is kind of dark, and we all know I like dark fabric, but not everybody does.
This is almost a manly stitch here.
Did you think this is almost a manly stitch?
Yeah.
It's from the Scarlet House. It's called Sarah Jackson. She did not take part in the expo, but these came out right around expo time. And it's not, you know, there's not a whole crap ton of stitching on it.
There's a lot of acorns.
Are those acorns, you think? I thought they were flowers.
They look like acorns to me.
Okay. The thing that I'm wondering about is these things. What do you think those are?
Motors. Those motorcycle things with the guy on the front.
What?
It's a commercial.
What?
Looks like a motorcycle.
No, serious. I've been trying to figure out what they are. Let me take it out of the plastic so you can see it a little better.
Let's get it zoomy.
See, what? Look at the ears on that. I thought at first it was a horse.
Those are probably horns.
But then I looked at the ears and I'm like, well, that...
Maybe an antelope.
But
antelope are kind of colored like that.
Really? They have big blotches of white on them?
Well, not big blotches, but they do have some...
I don't know. What are these? People, do you know what those are? Look at the ears. It looks almost like the head of a rabbit on the body of a horse.
A wonky donkey.
A wonky donkey. I suppose it could be a wonky donkey. If you've never watched that video of that Scottish lady reading that wonky donkey story, look it up on YouTube because it is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Wonky Donkey is a story, and a kid's story, and she gets to giggling and laughing. It's just so funny.
Guaranteed to make you laugh.
It is guaranteed to make you laugh.
Y'all.
So I only have, I think she calls for not 30 count. 36 count dolphin. That's Weeks Dye Works dolphin is the fabric. And I only have it in 30 count.
I remember seeing that in the shop before. I remember seeing that.
Well, that's because it's 30 count, which doesn't sell in my shop. So when it's gone, it's gone. I won't probably be replacing it because this is fabric that Mary Ann bought, I think, when she owned the shop. So
I like it.
I love the color, and I should probably buy it in a different count.
It doesn't really look like the greenish bluish color on the screen.
It is a greenish bluish.
That's what it doesn't look like.
Well, not on our screen. It's not coming across that way. But it's a greenish bluish color. It's really, really pretty. And so these are the colors. Are you guys hanging in there with us? I guess I figured a video is better than no video, right? Even if it's kind of discombobulated. I like that word. Do you like that word? I like that word. Yeah. Okay, so those are the colors. Very pretty. And I do love it. I did kind of play with some other fabric colors, so I'll probably do a chart of the day on this one at some point.
It's not the silks, but they look silky.
No, I did not do the silks. I did the overdyes. I will probably do a chart of the day video just to give other options, because some people, A, don't like stitching on dark fabric, and B, may not like the Weeks. That's not a Zweigart base. So anyway, that's really pretty.
It's not too stiff.
No, but it is loosey-goosey. Sometimes loosey-goosey. So that one I brought for you all to enjoy the look of anyway. And then, okay, one other one that I pulled the fabric and the threads for, again, because I wanted to see what it looked like. You know, I'm finding when I stop to think about things, which I don't generally do, when I stop to think about things, what draws me to certain charts over other charts is a desire to see what the colors of the floss look like and how they play with the fabric. And this was one of them that I liked the design. This is Lucy Kirby 1805 Straight School English Sampler. And I liked the design. But I was curious to see what the colors actually looked like. So I did pull and it was, you could either use a Verissois or DMC. So I pulled the DMC. And it calls for 40 count weeks parchment. So I brought that too. I'm not sure what those colors are. Why are you part of this? Or did I pull that for something else? Good Lord. No, I think that's part of it. But did I do it twice? No, I don't know what those are for. So we're gonna ignore them. Anyway. So this is your color palette. Which are very pretty. And then this is this is 46 count again, just to kind of show you kind of what that looks like. But I think it'd be pretty. I do. All right, so that's anything that I have floss and fabric to show you for. I've got a couple others that were ones that I really liked from the expo that some of them I borrowed from people's bags, and some of them I did get an extra pattern or two of. This is Autumn Lane Stitchery, and it's called Autumn Town. And I really liked the colors and the look of that. It reminds me of a Prairie Schooler, but I think the colors are probably a lot brighter than a Prairie Schooler. But I thought that was really pretty. It uses DMC, some Gloriana, and some Weeks Dye Works, but they do give you a substitute for the Gloriana and the Weeks Dye Works if you want to use all DMC. You like that?
Mm-hmm. It's pretty.
Mm-hmm. This is Jane Plenderleith, 1838, from Needlework Press. This was apparently a club piece, I think, is what Roxy told me. But I kind of liked it. I think it's a pretty sampler. It shows, I think, a stitched portion there, which is pretty. So I like that one. Mostly it was samplers that I liked. I don't know why. I never get them finished. This is Cross Stitch Antiques. It's called May These Lines a Relic Prove. And I love what's actually stitched. I'm not in love with the empty places. So I would have to try and figure out something to do with that. But I think the colors are gorgeous. I think it's really pretty. But these empty spaces would drive me nuts. What's your thoughts?
I don't know what you'd put in there.
I don't know either. I mean, you could put butterflies in here and here, you know, duplicate them down there. I don't know. I probably will never do anything with it. I liked Hannah's Sampler, the Ragamuffin No. 3 from Shakespeare's Peddler. I enjoyed this one. I really like that border. Isn't that pretty? Mm-hmm. And I like the water flowing under the bridge. Kind of reminds me of our village. But it looks like that. I really liked this one.
And stitched on the back too.
Yeah, this was her original. That was the original. So it's got some condition issues. Hence the name Ragamuffin. But I really liked that one. My pile is getting taller behind the thing. And that's everything. There's more that I will show you over the next few weeks, but those are just the ones that really stood out to me for today. I do have one other thing that I added to my stash. I will probably never stitch it because of the back stitching. But I really thought it was pretty. It's called the Embroiderer's Treasures. And I just think that's so cute. But all that back stitching would just drive me insane. And who knows? I might go ahead and stitch the stitched parts and then just, you know.
Color the back stitching?
Maybe. There you go. Get my little Sharpie out. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea, Dan. Mm-hmm. I will do that. Yeah. So that is that. The only other thing I would have to show you as far as stitching goes is my finished band sampler. Well, that's not a finish. So yeah, maybe I'll go this way. I do have a finish, and I wanna kind of give you a little story here on my finish, because finishes are few and far between for me because of all the, you know, I bop around a lot. It's hard to get anything done, and I recognize that, and I'm fine with that. But when I do have a finish, it's like, ooh, I have a finish. So I finished this. I finished the stitching on the hop on in. I'd shown it to you part way through, and then I got the stitching finished, and then not this past Monday, but a week ago Monday, I went downstairs to the craft room and I finished it. It took me all dang day. I think I worked on it from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. before it was done, which anyone else probably could have whipped that baby out in an hour.
Yeah, there's a few pieces to that though. So.
But anyway, I want you to imagine, if you will, the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks. And I want you to think about the scene in that movie where he's trying to build the fire, and then he actually gets the fire built. And if you have that pictured in your head, then I want you to imagine me, instead of saying, I made fire.
That's not how he says it.
How does he say it?
I made fire!
Okay, well,
that's how he says it.
Okay, so you can do this.
Okay.
You can do it for me. But imagine me dancing around in my craft room saying, I had a finish. Go ahead.
I made a finish!
That was me dancing around. I'm going to try and... Well, first I'll show you this part. Got that? Thanks, dear. Don't kill my bunny. Okay, so here's the pillow that took me all damn day to finish.
I made a pillow.
I made a pillow, yes. And I can make little square pillows with just, you know, like, that would have been no issue. It was this bottom part thing where you're sewing the two pieces together and then a back on it and trying to figure out how in the world to do that, that caused me issues. And I'm sure there's a tutorial out there somewhere, but in all my, you know, brilliant mind, it never occurred to me to go looking for that video. But so anyway, and if I can do this, so can you. It might take you all damn day, but you can do it. What do you?
Walnut crystal?
It is filled with crushed walnut shells, except for up at the top, because crushed walnut shells will sink. And then your top ends up fluffy. I do stuff the top with fiberfill so that it doesn't do that. It doesn't sag. I added the little... I found this fabric at Hobby Lobby, and I thought it was the perfect choice because it had the blue that matched this blue, and it had the orange and the green, and I thought it was perfect, and it was there, so I bought it. I had this in my stash, so I just used that, and I had the button in my stash, so I used that. So this was stitched with the sulky threads on 36 count charcoal. And when I first started stitching with the sulky threads, I was unsure as to how I felt about them. I am still a little bit unsure as to how I feel about them. I don't know that my stitches look real great, but you know, from a distance with my bad eyes, they look fine. But they're a little more rounded because you use just a single strand, and it's round. It's not like flat, and so your stitches are a little bit more
three-dimensional.
Yeah, pebbly looking. But on 36 count, it really gives good coverage, and I don't really care for 36 count. That new one I started from With Thy Needle is also on 36 count, and I am not liking the coverage on it, but it has over 1 on it, and I didn't want to try and do over 1 on 40 count. So I can do it, I just didn't want to. So anyway, this is how I have it displayed. We made a riser out of a candlestick, and Dan made the round top for it. I had a riser, but it was so...
It was... Sorry, Hobby Lobby, but it was a Hobby Lobby...
It was bad.
Reject.
It was really, really bad.
It was warped.
So I just put some moss on it. I got these at Hobby Lobby, and then I got the little rabbit at Hobby Lobby, and that's how it's going to be displayed. It's just hard to show you on here. Yeah, hold that up. Anyway, so that's how it'll be displayed. But anyway, just imagine me running around going, I have a finish! It was, no one was there to watch me, but it was exciting. No one was there to
watch Tom Hanks either.
Well, that's true. But I was excited, so I have a finish.
Except for Spalding.
The ball. Its name wasn't Spalding.
That's the sport company.
Was it a Spalding ball? I didn't know it wasn't. Wilson. Yeah. You're like messing with my head. Don't mess with my head. Okay, so Dan thinks I should show you this before it's like stretched and framed, which I will do. This is a piece that I designed. I wrote the verse. I designed it back in 2016, and then I got stuck on trying to figure out a color palette because there are so many beautiful colors out there, and I just, you know, I should have gathered them all up. I have samples of about 10 different colorways that I was considering. And I couldn't make up my mind, so I stuck it in a drawer. And then I'd come up with another color palette, and I'd stitch part of it, and I couldn't make up my mind, so I stuck it in a drawer. And finally we got to this year, and I'm like, if I don't pick something, it's never going to get done. So I said, screw it, I'm doing red and black because I like red and black, and I just stitched it. So
what other colors had you tried?
Oh, I had kind of a teal blue and a...
Yeah, that's the one I remember. That was second place, I think.
I still really like that. And I had kind of a rusty red and gray and blue color palette that my friend Sherry was going to stitch hers in. And I had a pink and gray that I really liked. Pink and gray, and it might have had a little bit of green in it that I really liked, but nobody else did. I don't know, I had a lot. But anyway, I decided to do just red and black and call it good and get it, and actually get it done. Otherwise, it would never get it done. Now, I'm going to show it, and then I'll read the verse to you and point out a few things. So I can't get it all on the screen, but that's my band sampler that you've heard me talking about for a very long time. This is 40 count colonial parchment from Hand Dyed by Stephanie, and the colors I used were my favorite red, which is Poinsettia from Gloriana, and just black from MPI. So they're both silks. The verse reads...
Do you want to talk about the design?
I will. The verse reads, a bit of fabric, a needle and thread are all I need to clear my head. My needle flowing in and out as I follow the charted route. Stitching X's in a row, creating beauty as I go. Relieves my worries, stress, and strife, all a part of this busy life. And when I'm finished for the day, my worries have all faded away. So it's kind of how I feel about stitching. Now, back in 2016, there must have been something going on in my life. Must have been something going on in my life, because when I originally charted this, that last verse actually read, so, you know, it's relieves my worries, stress, and strife, all a part of this busy life. And then the last verse went something like, and when I'm done and headed for bed, all thoughts of murder are gone from my head. So, something must have been going on during that time that I
moved out and stayed with my friend for a couple months during that time.
Had a little anxiety going on or something. And anyway, when I shared that with the gals that I Zoom with, they were all like, well, you have to chart that. And I think one of the reasons why I didn't chart it, didn't put it in this, because that would really be more me, is because it didn't fit. And I didn't want to make it wider. I'd had to redo everything else. So I came up with a different ending that was maybe a little more kinder and gentler than all thoughts of murder. Be kind. But they wanted it charted, so I have recharted it. I just changed the wording a little bit, and that'll be included in the chart when I...
So your friends are a little bit...
My friends are a little murderous too,
yeah.
But, you know, they hang out with me, so...
Yep.
Yeah, like attracts like, I guess. So it would be included in the chart if it ever becomes a chart. So that is the sampler you have been hearing about that I have been working on. I started the stitching, I think, in December.
You need to ring the bell.
I don't have a bell. Stephanie, ring the bell, please. Thank you. So anyway, that's that. And again, I have a finish, and I'm very excited about it. So
you'll feel that way if you can ever get your historical one.
I know my antique one it's charted, I just got to stitch the griffin and make sure the shading, and I'm not an artist, so that's what, again, I get paralyzed by these things, like color choices, and I just sit on them. I'm not an artist. I'm not creative that way.
I can't help you there.
So I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so now, boy, this is a long, we're at 55 minutes already.
Talk fast.
And you've barely even spoken. I've been doing all the chatting.
They're probably enjoying that.
They are probably not. They like it when you talk, because you're funny and I'm not. So, which one does that make me? Are you Laurel and I'm Hardy, or am I Hardy and you're Laurel? I'm the straight man.
I don't know.
I don't know either. But, yeah. That's why we get along so well. All right, so where do we want to go now? Why don't you show, Dan's made a few more ruler things that I'm going to have him show you, and then I'm taking them to the shop. They are not available for sale on the website. I'm going to put the pictures of them on the website, but you'll actually have to call or email to order them because of shipping. It's hard to figure out what the shipping will be, so I'd just as soon not put them on there.
The good thing is they're pretty light. So.
They're pretty light. It's just finding the right vessel, you know, the right box to put them in.
Mm-hmm.
I did figure out, although maybe it's not going to work with these, I'm shipping one to Donna. Yeah, so that I flipped the lid upside down on, so it would protect the knob and will actually make it easier to ship. I did that for Donna's that I shipped to her. But anyway, so I'll let you show them because they're yours.
Well, they've seen some of these, right? Which ones have they seen?
Well, they saw the one that Donna wanted, so, but you flocked the bottom of that one. Just show them again.
Yeah, I've made a different top for it too. Instead of just gluing the spool on there, I put a screw through it to make it a little more, and that's kind of cheesy, I guess, but that's all I could come up with. And then a little decorative escutcheon pin, just kind of glued that on top of there to finish that up. So this one's flocked too. It has a flock.
Yeah, he flocked the bottom of it. So
they're all kind of prototypish because they're all just a little bit different. Like this one, I flocked the bottom, but stained the inside.
But you did also do the, well, you didn't on this one, but on this one, we put an extra piece of wood to give that lid more support.
Right, yep.
But you didn't on that
well,
one.
This one's pretty small, so I think it'll be all right.
Yeah. And
This
they
was
have seen that.
Yeah, that's the inspiration to get this party started. This is the latest one. We just bought probably, what, a dozen new yardsticks?
Dozen new yardsticks when we went to that new old antique store that we went to. And he liked, it's kind of a green. It looks not as green on our screen, but it's kind of a green, maybe like almost a jadeite green.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I really like that color. It would go in here really well.
I'm getting better at picking out the acrylic paints to match up the base. That one came out pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of like the yellow one, the yellow yardstick that we found at the Brass Armadillo. And Julie didn't really like it, but I think after it got shabby chiced a little bit.
It's better. It's not as bright a yellow.
Yeah.
So it's
washed it
better.
down a little bit.
And I don't remember whether we showed that the last time or not. The black, I know we showed the yardstick, but I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. It may not have been made.
I don't remember if we showed the box, so we thought we'd just show it again.
Yep.
He put the little pretty feet on them.
Yeah, thought that one deserved the feet. Were you real yippy skippy on buying the black one originally? The black yardstick? I don't think you were.
Yeah, I don't know why I wouldn't have been. I'm a fan of black, but I vaguely recall my going, oh, black? I don't know.
This is another color.
This one's more of a teal blue.
Teal blue.
And it's not as bright a blue as what it's showing on our screen.
Yeah, it's got almost a little green to it. Mm-hmm. I got the feet floating around in there because I thought I'd put the feet on this one too. There you go.
So.
Well, that measures up.
Yep. I get it. I got that one. You threw it, I caught it.
Inch by inch.
Yeah. Okay, so found a couple of treasures. What I have found is when I go to an antique mall, if I start looking for things to make frogs out of, that's all I focus on. So the first half of our trip, of our journey through the 4-hour journey through the mall.
Frog. For
Frogs.
those of you that.
Yes, those are flower frogs. You know, I was just looking. I wasn't looking for anything in particular. I was just looking. Oh, can you grab my thing? My picture up there, because I got that too. It seems like I got something else. Well, we got the picture for Melanie, but that's already gone. Anyway, I found treasures. That's what I'm trying to say. I found some treasures. And this is one of the treasures that I found. It's an old spool holder. It came with the tomato and strawberry that fits in a little.
Didn't it say that was like from the 1800s?
They said this was, I think what the tag said was very old. Very, very old. And it better be for the price I paid for it.
Well, it was on
I
sale,
paid up for it. It was on sale, but I did pay a lot for it. And when I got home, I was looking at it, and I'm like, "Hey, Dan, do you think you could duplicate that?" And he said, "Well, yeah, I could do that." So I'm gonna let him show you his duplication. And if you see dust, it's because of construction, and it's everywhere. So,
Yeah.
So what wood is that made out of, dear?
I think it's Bolivian rosewood is what it's called.
Okay.
So it's a little bulkier than this one. You know, just my lathe tools are really for larger project type things. So
Does that mean you got to get a new tool?
if I want to get down to the really smaller, you know, these little intricate parts in here and up here, I just don't have a tool that's small enough really to get in there to do it.
I guess we know what to get you for Father's Day, huh?
So this is kind of revised. Yeah, mate. What were you thinking? Why don't you explain the?
Well, because I wanted, you know, a lot of people are using that. Well, this is sulky, but a lot of people are also using the 103, which comes on a spool like this, and I wanted it to be able to hold that. And see that there's supposed to be some spikes along the bottom of this one, but then these wouldn't fit on it. So I did ask him to make it so that those could fit on the bottom row too. So people could, you know, have the flosses that they're working on next to their chair.
So these pins started out as copper because I had to have something that I could bend, because it would have been really hard to rig up a drilling process to get that angle consistently. So I just drill the hole straight and then put them in, glue them, and then bend them over. So that's why I went with the copper. And I also, you can kind of see that I started out by aging or patina, putting some patina on the copper pieces. And they were really kind of green,
kind of blue-green,
kind of greenish blue.
And I wanted, which was pretty, but I wanted them darker.
But you can see a little bit of the patina kind of showing through on some of them. I pretty much just sprayed a little bit of black spray paint on them and
just tone down the blue.
Yeah.
So, but I think for your prototype, I think that turned out really pretty.
It's a fun project, but. And then I stole the tomato from the girl's stash downstairs.
That's actually came from a toy.
Yeah.
But he stole it. I told him I would make one to go in there, and I haven't done it yet.
She said, you went out and bought one. I said, I didn't buy one. I stole it from the
girls. So anyway, I thought he did a good job for his first one. There are a couple little things that could stand improvement on, but he did an excellent job. I was so happy with him for being able to do that. And then, another thing that this is not related to stitching whatsoever. It was just cute and I liked it. I guess you could relate because those are tomatoes. So we'll tie it in because it's a tomato. It's a tomato. But it's just this
of tomatoes.
It's just this little juice pitcher, and it sits not up and down. It sits at an angle, and I really.
You could put your.
You could fill it up with spools and stuff.
Segue to stitching.
Yes, there you go. So it is a fringy, but I just thought it was stinking cute. So, and it's got green on it, which is my favorite color. I like that. And then then what happened is I happened to find some frogs. And they were inexpensive frogs. And anytime you find inexpensive frogs, you buy them, which then leads you to finding the vessels for the frogs to go on. And if you can find inexpensive vessels, that's even better, because then the cost to resell them is lower. And it's been really, really hard to find. I used to be able to find these compotes for under $5. And lately they've been priced at $25, which is not something I can resell. So and these were not $5 either, but they were not $25. So
well, some of them are carnival glass.
Some of them are carnival glass. Some of them are colored glass. Most of them I have taken to work already. I just have 3 or 4 sitting here that I thought I would show you. So I've got a silver one, the same exact thing, only with a silver band at the shop. So, and it works really good for putting your scissors in, and it's pretty. So I got that, and then I found a black frog. Well, it's technically black amethyst, so supposedly this is purple, but it looks black to me, so I'm going to call it black. But these are usually really expensive when you find them in a color other than clear. And this one was reasonably priced. So I picked it up and we walked around the mall, and Dan found, you can show him what you found. He said, will this work? It's a very pretty teal blue green, and this happened to fit just perfectly in there. So
you could buy a betta fish and put in there.
You could, or you could fill it with spools or buttons or ear orts. So you could do a lot of different things with that one, and I think it's really pretty. And then I found this black vase, urn, whatever you want to call it. It's got some ladies on it. Not sure what they're doing, but I thought it was very pretty, and it's got a frog in it that sits down in it, but you know, so your scissors would sit in there. It's like that. So I thought that was pretty and unique.
There's two of those available.
Yeah, there was, and I should probably have bought the other one, but you never know if you're going to be able to find a frog to fit it. So I have a lot of vessels that I do not have frogs that fit them. I've got 2 purple goblets. Purple glass is usually really expensive, and I found these 2 purple goblets that were like $4, I think. And so I bought them speculating that I would be able to find a frog for them, and I have not been able to yet. And then every now and again you run across these bubble type frogs, but they have a rounded side, so you can't really find a vessel that they fit in. Dan was going to make some, but he's not going to have time to do that anytime soon. But you can just sit them on your table,
Or put it on a plate.
or what I like to do is I find a pretty little plate, and you sit it on the pretty little plate, and it just kind of dresses it up a little bit, makes it a little more stylish. I have one that I keep here at home, sits on a table, and it's the red Twal transferware that sits here, and it just dresses it up a little.
Westport, Lennox.
Lennox, yes. Yeah, this is
That one was for, what's her name?
this
Georgette.
is English ironstone from Meakin. So, not that they care. we go through the antique mall anymore and try and guess what things are, because we've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on these vintage thrifter people that go out and buy stuff. So
Throughout history, these have been murder weapons as well. Yes.
you could.
This thing weighs about 5
It's
pounds.
a lot. Shipping on that would be a lot. Which is why they'll be on the website for you to see, but you'll have to call and order it if you see one that you like, because shipping is going to vary so much to make sure it gets there safely.
How they would make that.
What?
I don't know how they would make that. But it's pretty
Wouldn't it be kind of a hand-blown process?
cool.
I would think. I don't know. I don't know anything about glass. So, dude, you would miss me if I was gone. Not sure how sincere that yeah was. So, you added to your stash.
Well, you did, actually.
Well, I kind of added to it. I asked him if he would want it, and so he did. I did order it for him, but I thought he might want to show it to you.
Our friend slash fellow stitcher, Nicole, she had been working on this forever. How many years did she say?
I don't remember how
A
many
long
years.
time.
Long time.
But it's a kit that you buy. How was it? Do you know what the date was on it?
I don't know.
2001.
2001. So it's not, it's 20 years old. But isn't that cool? So pretty. And hers is just stunning when you see it in person.
Yep, it's pretty cool. Of course, it goes on
Black 8 up.
black, so I've stitched. What did I stitch on black? I did a project on black.
You
And
did.
it didn't really bother me. I think it was one of the housewives ones, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I will I do this on the Ada? Or, yeah. I don't mind stitching on Ada. It's simple. I guess there's a lot of half stitches and
A lot of
double stitches,
10
triple
stitches,
stitches.
and a lot of 4 strands, 3 strands, 2 strands, blended. It's not an easy project, but it's really, really stunning when it's stitched up. So that concludes the stitching and fringy portion of the video. We're at 1 hour and 13 minutes, but we still want to talk a little bit about why you're not currently stitching, what it is that's keeping you busy. I did want to show, and I'll do that right now, Abby sent some pictures of Reese home with Dan this week, and I very rarely show any pictures, so I was going to show, these are her 1-year-old pictures. She turned 1 in February. Look at those eyes. And her little cute little teethies. So this is Reese. And then the three of them together. So that's Reese. She's our youngest grandchild at the moment. I think Abby and Travis are going to start trying for number 2. So
after Abby recovers.
After Abby recovers. It's been kind of a crazy week. I think I mentioned in my chart of the day video that Amy had surgery, Abby had surgery, and that Dan had an accident with Travis's truck this week. So it's been kind of a crazy week. Dan had to go out and take care of Abby Thursday and Friday after her surgery. She had a deviated septum and a lot of scar tissue and was getting infections over and over and over in her nose. And they were saying something about the pressure, because it was all blocked off. Pressure in the one ear was going to cause her to go deaf. So she made the decision to go ahead and have that reamed out, so to speak. And it's a tough surgery. She's hurting pretty bad.
It's got a splint that sits up in there that they have to take out, what, a week later?
I think she goes back Wednesday and gets that out.
It's disgusting.
It's pretty rough surgery.
And she's still bleeding. 3 days after the surgery, 4 days after the surgery, she's got to replace that pad every 3 or 4 hours at the most.
So he went out there and stayed with her for a couple of days. Dan went Tuesday. Okay, let's back up and talk about. We've been trying to get the contractors to come out and give us bids on the kitchen and master bathroom, and we so far got 2 bids back. We have one guy that hasn't. Half
of them show up. You go through the spiel. They take all the measurements, and
then you never hear back from them. So we have one person that has not. He came out and he seemed really nice. I liked him. He had some good ideas, but we have not received a bid from him. And then another person called once to make an appointment, but to come out, but I was already at work, and he hasn't called again. So
that's just a construction guy, not a contractor.
Yeah.
Not a general contractor.
So anyway, we did get 2 bids back, and we kind of thought that $44,000 was a little bit extravagant for a master bathroom, because that was just for the bathroom.
Well, the bedroom floor.
The bedroom floor and some windows, but still $44,000 was out of our price range completely. So last weekend, Dan started doing construction or deconstruction. He's going to try and do as much as he can on the bathroom before we have to call in. Like, we're going to have to call in an electrician. We're going to have to call in a plumber, a tile person probably. I already called the window people. He's supposed to be getting me a bid for windows. And the kitchen is temporarily on hold for now. And we'll focus mostly on the bathroom so that we're not down a bathroom when Amy and Emily are here, hopefully. Mm-hmm. So that's what kind of keeping him from doing any stitching. He's kind of working on that.
Well, I only have 2 nights or 3 nights during the week to work on it, because I teach till 9:30 or so on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if I am feeling ambitious, that's been pretty good so far. But there's some strange requests that come up, like, I don't want you to make any dust so I can sleep better tonight.
Okay. Now wait a minute. Wait. Okay. A contractor would cover things, or remove them from the room. And when he deconstructed the big whirlpool tub and part of the walls around it, he didn't bother to cover anything in the bedroom. So I went to bed and everything in there was covered in sheetrock dust. And I coughed the entire night. So I made the request to please cover my bed with plastic. I don't care about the other stuff. I can clean that. But he did that on the weekend, and I spent the entire day Monday cleaning and doing my bedding because it was so full of dust. So I don't think it was an unreasonable request to cover the bed with plastic.
But the one night you just said, don't make any dust, period.
that was Monday night after I'd spent all day. He was going to go up there and make more dust, and I just cleaned it all up. Don't make any dust tonight. I wanted a good night's sleep. Not unreasonable.
So I tap, 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 and then I get out a rag and I wipe it off. And I pull something out and I get out a rag and wipe it off.
Bullshit. Guess what?
It slows the process down.
Guess what? Dan learned nothing from falling off the stacked chairs and breaking his wrist, because I came home yesterday to find him standing on my vanity table bench. Now, it's an antique bench that has needed its joints tightened up for 20 years. And then the top of it is not attached. And if you don't sit on it just right, it collapses inward. So he's standing on that and working up above him.
Just for one quick little thing.
Oh yeah, one quick little thing. Yeah. How long did it take you to fall off those stacked chairs? About 2.2 seconds.
That's why I didn't stack the bed.
So I yelled at him. Told him he was not to do that again.
She narcs on me on the other stitchers. I get narked on by them when I come in to say hi to them.
Well, they just thought that was kind of dumb, that you didn't learn from past mistakes. You're not a spring chicken anymore. You're an old duck.
Tell me about it.
So you need to use your head a little more. Don't need any more medical bills, that's for sure. So anyway, progress is being made. I don't know that have you taken any current pictures?
No.
I have. Do you see my phone?
Yeah.
I have a picture of what he did last weekend. I haven't taken a picture since then. Let me show you. So that was last weekend, if you can see that. I don't know. There. That's where the tub used to be. You had to what have you done so far? You've taken the tub out.
Yeah.
You had to reroute.
I had to cut the copper piping out. That goes from the sink over here over to the shower here. So I cut this out and just kind of replaced it temporarily with some plastic PEX material that goes from the original, so we still have water over to the shower. And that'll have to be rerouted by a plumber.
But he tells me, he says, oh, by the way, I had a 50-50 chance of getting the hot and cold right, and I didn't get it right, so hot is now where cold was, and cold is where hot was, which was
minor thing.
Minor thing, which you had to get. But he did not mention that he fixed that issue yesterday. So when I went to shower this morning, and I stepped in, because you turn the shower on and then you let it warm up and then you climb in. Only it didn't warm up this morning because he'd fixed it. So the cold was cold and the hot was hot. Okay, and
bring that back up.
I got it back up.
Because my orientation is weird here. I guess this is where we're going into the bedroom. Yeah, we're
going into the bedroom there.
So this was the drain for the tub originally, and the exhaust stack went under the floor.
Now that's not what you called it before.
The fart stack.
I call it the fart stack.
The technical term is the fart stack. So it went under the floor over here, up the wall, and of course that's where we're putting the new door, the new barn door in. So that all had to be moved over out of the way. So that meant I had to cut a hole in the floor and reroute the ductwork, and there's barely enough room to do it with the vanity still in there, so that added some complications to it. But that's taken care of. The fart stack is moved over, and the water is ready to be rerouted by the plumber when they get to that. And
okay,
that bench is out of there too.
Yep, yep. So one of the things that we found when we were antiquing 2 weeks ago was this really pretty antique buffet. And we tossed around the idea of using it as the new vanity. But we didn't pull the trigger on it, and didn't pull the trigger on it, and didn't pull the trigger on it until this past Monday. Dan finally decided to pull the trigger on it. But then when he called and he purchased it over the phone, they told him he had 72 hours to pick it up. And
we don't have a truck.
We don't have a pickup. So we had a
and I don't like borrowing.
He does not like to borrow people's vehicles. And so the only way it was going to happen was for him to take some time off, borrow Travis's pickup, go and pick it up from Lincoln, take it to Abby and Travis's and leave it there, and then come back to Omaha in his car without the vanity or without the buffet, because he had to teach that night. And it's an hour and a half from Abby and Travis's to our house. So he couldn't drive the truck all the way here, drop it off, drive an hour and a half back to Travis's, and then drive another hour and a half back. There just wasn't enough time in the day. So he drove it back to Travis's and was going to leave it in the shed there. And in the meantime, from the time you picked up the truck to the time you got back, his cousin had shown up, is that right? And had moved all the equipment out? No. Oh, okay.
That all happened. The fight with the dumpster occurred when I went to pick up the truck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, he did end up. There was a incident of being stuck in the mud and a little problem, and he ended up hitting the dumpster with the pickup. So.
Yep. Front end of it, I had to gun it to get back up, and the front end went whoop in the mud and up against the dumpster. So, thought we got a good deal on the cabinet. It was, I think, $395. They had it marked down to $295. I got them down to $250, and then immediately it went up to $1450.
So yeah, we gotta pay for his repairs on his truck, but. And the buffet is still sitting out at Abby and Travis's, so we've got to get that back here because we're probably going to end up painting it.
The sinks will sit on top is the plan.
Yeah, the sinks will sit on top. There'll be a shallow vessel sink because really the only thing we use the sinks in the bathroom for is to spit after we brush our teeth. So, thanks. You don't really need a real deep sink for that. Well, you know, it's not like you wash your hair in it or anything. You wash your hands after going to the bathroom and you spit in it when you brush your teeth. That's about it. So the sinks will sit on top of that, and it's a little bit shorter than our current vanity. Our current vanity is 72 inches and this one's 66, which will actually help with getting the door and stuff in, the barn door and stuff in. So he's made good progress. He's gonna make some more mess today. Taking out another wall, I think.
Yeah, just a short.
And you might if you're making the mess, you might as well cut the doorway through.
Yeah, I was going to do that today. No, put some plastic on the inside.
Yeah.
You don't want to get any dust in your...
Oh, yeah, no. Don't want to get any dust in the bedroom.
Yeah, I'm kind of known for that, for my meticulousness.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I have washed the floor for you every night.
You have. Yes. I will say that. You have cleaned up the counter and the floor. You've done a good job of that. What? There you go. Good boy.
Thank you.
So, anyway, that's what he won't be stitching or making any wood projects or anything else for a while until he gets that taken care of. And I don't know where we're at on the kitchen, whether we'll end up doing anything
Well,
or
might wait
not.
till I get done with what I can do, and then I can maybe start on some of the kitchen stuff.
But you know, kind of once you start this stuff, you're kind of committed. So if we end up not being able to find anyone to come and finish things up, we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, we'll find somebody.
So, but I think probably the next thing that needs to happen is the electrical. Don't you think?
Before I can continue anything else.
Yeah, before we can do anything else, we need to move the plugs that we need to move. Well, probably you will have to do that. Because of the way our closet and bathroom are configured, it's a stupid design. So we're going to close up where the current bathroom door is. And I think I think you're going to have to do that, Dan, because that switch will need to be moved for the closet.
Mm-hmm.
So we're probably going to have to take that and do that before the electrician comes out, because he'll have to move that and make sure it's all up and running and whatever. So anyway, that's what's going to be taking up Dan's time. So I don't know that he'll have anything to show you for for quite some time.
Unless you want a night of no dust, I might have time to do some stitching.
Yeah. So maybe you won't see him for a while.
Might just be the Julie show.
Might just be the Julie show for a while. I know it's not as exciting as the Dan and Julie show, but that's what's kind of going on here. Is there anything else interesting to tell them? We both got our first shots. We're happy about that.
Saturday.
He gets his second one Saturday, and I think I get mine on the 30th. So look, yeah, I was sick with the first one. It didn't, other than him whining about his arm, it didn't seem to affect you so much. But I had 3 or 4 days I did not feel well. But I'm happy I got the shot. Hopefully then maybe be able to open up to not have appointments in May is what I'm shooting for is May. Give people a little more time to get their shots too, and then probably masks will still be required, but appointments can go away. Some people really like the appointments though. They like having the one-on-one attention, but there are others who are totally resistant to it. So.
Yep, and thanks to anybody who's supported the shop, because it's really kind of amazing that she's been able to stay open through all this. Even under normal circumstances, these brick and mortar places are sure having a hard time, and we made one good decision. That doesn't happen very often, but we decided to open up an online presence prior to the
pandemic. Yeah.
To the pandemic. So
that was
a lifesaver there.
Someone was really looking out for me then, because
you wouldn't have been able to do it.
I'd have been gone.
You know, like the onset in March or something, you wouldn't have been able to get it set up and profitable enough to make it worthwhile.
Nope.
So
I would have been gone. So yes,
that's one of the strange positive things that has happened to us.
Yep. Okay, so. Gosh, I don't know if I've ever had a video this long.
Well, we appreciate the 2 people that stayed on the whole time to watch us.
Yes.
You all come back now, huh?
All 2 of you. Yes. Anyway, thank you so much. If you made it to the end, we appreciate it. I will try and get a chart of the day video out this week. I'm still busy with Expo orders. I'm still missing a couple of like JBW has not. I haven't received that yet. There's a couple random things that like they were out of, and then were going to send me later. My Fox and Rabbit order hasn't shipped yet. I don't think. Maybe it might have shipped. I don't know. But I got an email from them this morning. They're having flooding issues and can't get out to mail anything. So that might be delayed a little bit. And my Revaris order is on its way. Well, I have paid I got the PayPal invoice this morning, so I've got to pay that, and then it'll be on its way. And what else? I think that's about it. Like I said, there are a couple random things that did not come that I will try and get for people. But for the most part, I think most of the orders are in. And I shipped out a lot last week. That was a busy week. So I'm hoping maybe to get some stretching done this week, but I don't know. No guarantees. So anyway, thanks for hanging with us. I hope you have a great Sunday, and we will see you all next time. Mm-hmm. Take care. Bye. Bye. And you thought you were rid of me. Sorry. In the video, when I was showing my band sampler, Dan had said something about me showing something to you, and I said I would show it to you. I would get to that, and then I totally forgot to get to that. So I thought I would add it at the end. I don't know how to put it in the middle, so some of you probably won't even see this because probably most of you did not stick around for the end. But anyway, what Dan wanted me to show you was that the middle bands of my sampler each have some reference to stitching in them. So that, like this first band, these are needles that are crossed. That's like the eye of the needle right there. So that makes up that band. And then this band is actually embroidery hoops lapped over each other, overlaid each other, I guess, over and over and over all the way across. I did have someone that I showed this to who asked me why there's two of this tightening screws. That was a design choice on my part because having just one didn't look right. So it was just a way to make the design a little more, I don't know, it just made it look better. And then the third middle band, the red parts are actually 4 pairs of scissors put together with the points in the middle. So like those are the handles of the scissors, and they're pointing inwards. So that's that band. That's what Dan wanted me to point out to you. So I thought I'd better add that to the end. And now I am letting you go. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will hopefully see you in a couple of days. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.